All right, welcome to the night club. Today we're going to factor some special products. This is lesson 7-7. One more again, we are on page 398 in your Big Ideas Algebra 1 textbook if you want to follow along. Our first example here, please understand you are doing the same thing that we did for the last 2 days, okay? The one exception is, the one exception is these are going to be special products. So when they're special, that usually means you get to do it a little shorter way, okay? So can anybody look at these and Mike could tell me what's special about them? What's different? There's no X term, okay? And we haven't really talked about this, which is my fault, but we're going to talk about it right now. Okay, that's usually the form, right? Okay, this term, and this term make up your three terms, which, what do we call them when there's three terms? Trinomial. Okay, so in your trinomial, this first term is known as the quadratic term because it has an x what? Squared. The second term is known as a linear term because it just has x. And then the C is called your constant term, okay? So you got your quadratic term, your linear term, and your constant term, okay? If you are missing the linear term, if you're missing it, B must have been what if it's not there? 0. That's exactly right. Okay, so when you see something like this, it's almost like it should have been this.
Could you still write the 0?
You can write it, but just understand there's no reason to. Okay, because what's 0 times x? 0, and then 0 minus 25 is going to be negative 25. Okay, but that's kind of what you're doing here, and then you would factor it like you always have. You're going to figure out two numbers that multiply to be negative 25, but add up to what? 0, because nothing's there.
So what is that? I'm confused with the 0.
If nothing is there, if there is no linear term, B had to have been 0, because there's no x anymore. Does that make sense? Okay? So when you do problems like this, you're doing the same little game in your head. You're figuring out what multiplies to be that number and adds up to be 0. The only way to add up to be 0 is to be the same number, but opposites, right? Negative 5 and positive 5. Those would be my factors, okay? So the reason this is special is because I don't have to go through all that trouble, okay? I can do it kind of simpler. So this was A, right? So part B, rather than putting the plus 0z in there, okay, here's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to factor it straight up because I can. What I'm looking for, okay, is this term to be a perfect square and that term to be a perfect square, okay? So I said perfect square. What are perfect squares? 1 squared is what? 1. 1 is a perfect square. 2 squared is what? Nope. 2 squared is what? 4. 4 is a perfect square. 3 squared is what? 9. 9 is a perfect square. 16. 25. 36. 49. 64. 81, 100, 121, 144, and so on and so forth, okay? These are all perfect squares, okay? You're looking for perfect squares, and if you're subtracting two perfect squares, all you have to do is take the square root of both of them, okay? What's the square root of 4z squared? Square root. 2, what? What's the square root of z squared? No. 2z. I put 2z here, and I put 2z there. Same thing I did here. What's the square root of x squared? 1 what? The square root of x squared. The square and the square root do what? They cancel, and you're just left with x. So I put x and x right there and right there. What's the square root of 25? 5. I put -5 and +5. I'm doing the same thing over here. I'm taking the square root of 4z squared, which would be 2z. Write it twice. The square root of 1 is what? 1. Plus 1 minus 1. I'm done. Okay?
You want to write down the perfect cube?
That's if you want to write them down, you can. You can. If you don't have to. I don't want. It doesn't matter to me that you write them down. It just matters to me that you know them. Okay? Because like I said, you'll need to be able to recognize them in order to do this. You got me?
Yes.
If you don't recognize the perfect square, it's going to be hard to take the square root of it. Okay? So we'll hit pause. Another example. Same type, just different ones here. Okay? So just to show you how easy this is.
I'm gonna hurt you.
X squared. Is that a perfect square? Yes. Is 64 a perfect square? Yes. So they're being subtracted. So all you have to do is, what's the square root of x squared? What is the square root of x squared? It's not 1, it's not 2. It's x. X and x. And then what's the square root of 64?
8.
8.
What?
Plus 8
It's a perfect square.
minus 8. Done.
Because it's what your square root is, aren't you?
You're doing the square root. Just type in your calculator. Square root of 64.
Is it square root like 2?
Also, the divide sign.
Okay. B. Is 25 a perfect square? Is b squared a perfect square? So what is the square root of 25b squared? 5b. 5b goes there. And there is 36 a perfect square. What's the square root of 36? Plus 6 minus 6. Okay? You're done. Again, it's just a little shortcut from doing it.
Will you
the
ever
long way.
be dividing?
Shouldn't have to. Everybody good on the first example? I think so. Let's do another. Example 2. We're going to skip example 2. I'm not going to make you do any of that.
We're just gonna yeet those out of the way.
Example 3. Here we go. All right. Example 3. Another special product. All right. This one's not special because of how you work it. It's special because of how you write the answer.
Is it the backwards one?
It's not a backwards way. It's the normal way. So we're going to have n and n. We're back to having the whole trinomial, all 3 of them, right? We play our game. 2 numbers that multiply to be 16, add up to 8. What are 2 numbers that multiply to be 16 and add up to 8? And 4 and 4. Here's what makes them special. We just got n plus 4 times n plus 4. That means it's n plus 4 what? Squared. That's how they want you to write your answer. That's the only thing special about it. That's all it is. Okay? Everybody follow that? So don't leave your answer as n plus 4 times n plus 4. Technically it's right. They're just saying, hey, you should write your answer as n plus 4 squared. I might take like a point off, but you're not missing the whole thing. Okay? Over here, B, do I have a common factor? No, so I got to do what with the 4? Borrow. Okay, that'll make x squared minus 12x. 4 times 9 is 36. Play the game. What two numbers multiply to be 36? And what kind of sixes? We need negative 12. Negative 6. Negative 6. We borrowed a what? A 4, so make sure we put it back. That will be x minus 3 over 2 times x minus 3 over 2. And what do we need to do with the 2? The bottom goes where? Bottom goes to the top. Now, do we have the same thing twice? Yeah, so we're just going to write it 2x minus 3 squared. That is all that is special about it. Okay? Easy enough? Everybody good?
Yes, sir.
All right, we'll do another one like that. Pretty quick and easy. Oops. Well, it won't let me go like I want to do it. Okay, that's close enough. A, two numbers that multiply to be 169 and add up to 26. 13 and 13. So x plus 13, x plus 13, but don't write it like that. We want to write it like x plus 13 squared.
Where's your exact thing?
I don't know. It was right
No,
here.
Everybody good on A? B, is there a common denominator?
And this is
9, 24, and 16? 3 will not go into 16.
No.
Nope.
No, I mean.
There's not. So we're going to do what with the 9? Borrow it. I'm going to need your help with that.
150.
I don't believe that's correct.
144.
144 sounds correct. So we'll have x and x, and what two numbers multiply to be 144 and divide and add up to be negative 24 is negative 12 and negative 12.
Divided by 9.
Divided by 9. That reduces to x minus 4 over 3 and x minus 4 over 3. So that will be bottoms up, right? 3x
3x minus 4
squared. 3x minus 4 squared. Okay? That's an ugly square.
I think we all have our flaws, Coach.
We do.
That's a Z.
Coach,
It's a 2.
Dallas, you can see.
I know, but it's a 2. I'm telling you it's a 2.
All right.
Coach, what do you think your flaw is?
2. All right? Everybody good on those? Good. All right. Example 4. We're solving.
I'm gonna ruin it for you.
Zero.
Okay.
No, I don't want to do this.
These are tough. Okay.
Hopefully
Why are they tough?
Fractions.
Fractions. So
Terrible teacher.
I am going to make the fractions
Hard.
go away.
Do you have?
Good job.
Okay. So I'm
Stop
going to take my common denominator between 3 and 9. What would the common denominator between 3 and 9 be?
3.
Nope. Good try
it.
that. That would be the common factor, but I want the common denominator.
Between what?
3 and 9.
9.
9.
What?
Okay? That's the common denominator. Remember, the common denominator is the least common multiple. Okay? So we're looking for what number will they both go into evenly. So I'm going to take that number, which was what? 9, and I'm going to multiply everything by 9.
Okay.
And doing this, I will get rid of all the fractions. And if you still have fractions when you're done doing this, you did it incorrectly. Does everybody hear that? Okay? So here's why they go away. Now I have 9x squared, okay, plus, listen, what is 9 divided by 3?
2. No, it's 3.
It's 3 times 2x would be 6x. What is 9 divided by 9?
81.
Divided, buddy.
Oh.
1 equals, what is 9 times 0? 0. No more fractions. Okay? All right. From here, now we work it just like we have been. Do we have to borrow?
Yes.
Yes. Take your 9 over. X squared plus 6x plus 9 equals 0. Factor. Slow down. Feel like I'm going a little fast. 9 times 1 is 9, right? Okay. Play the game. Two numbers that multiply to be 9 add up to 6. 3 and 3. Okay. And again, for this lesson, look for that. Remember, it's the lesson's literally called special products. Okay. So they should be the same. Okay, for this lesson. So 3 and 3. And we borrowed the what? 9. So we got to put it back by dividing. Divide by 9, divide by 9. So that is 1/3 squared equals 0. My final step, because this says what? Solve, is to just figure out what makes that parentheses what? What makes it equal to 0?
So the opposite of
Which would be
negative 1/3.
-1/3. I'm only going to have one answer here. It just happens so that I have that one answer twice. I get the same answer twice. Okay, please don't sit like that. The desk, literally, I can hear it screaming. Move your legs up under it like a normal person. Okay.
Normal, coach.
I understand. I don't even see him why he thinks it's comfortable. Like he's like in a pretzel.
It's comfortable because I'm stretchy.
You're stretchy.
Do you know how far my skin goes out?
I don't.
My nipples go out like.
I don't. That's too much information. Look, YouTube does not need to know this.
Well, they don't know.
All right. Any questions on that? Let's try it one more again. Okay. One more time. Have to do the same thing. That was. It's really. Oh wow.
God, I can't do it.
Example.
It was really big. Okay.
I understand the example. Example. I don't have it.
All right. I'm gonna multiply this one by what to get rid of the fraction? How many fractions do I have?
1.
1. So that makes it easy. So I multiply everything by what? 4. This times 4,
Why 4?
because that's my what? That's my denominator. Okay? You multiply everything by the denominator. If there's 2 denominators, you multiply everything by the common denominator. Okay? And what's the purpose of that? To get rid of the what? Fractions. Once you do this, you will have no more fractions. Okay?
And if you do, you got a problem.
So I'm going to put it up here so I have room. 4x squared plus 12x plus what? The 4 is what? Cancel out, right? And you're left with 9 equals 0. Is everybody good to there? Okay? Okay. Put your feet down. All right. I'm going to erase this so I have some room to work. And here we go. Is there a common factor? No. So I'm going to borrow my 4. Whoa.
Coach, you need to down
It's a
now.
little thick. Okay. That's x squared plus 12x plus 36 equals 0. Now you can factor it. What 2 numbers multiply to be 36 and add up to 12? 6 and 6. Divide by what you borrowed, which was what?
No.
4.
You borrowed 4. So that'll be x plus 3 over 2 squared equals 0. Again, I don't have to do the bottoms up here because we are solving, okay? If it says solve, you don't have to do the bottoms up part. If it says factor, you do.
Yes,
Okay?
sir. Yes,
So
sir.
we don't have to do this because it says solve. What would make this parentheses 0? -3/2.
Dude, why you hit me like
Okay?
Do not touch anything, Coach Knight.
Don't touch anything. Got it. I'm going to say goodbye to our people at home. Y'all have a great day. See you next time and stay above the line.